All right, I think everyone's connected. Perfect. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our Careers in Advanced Manufacturing and Mechatronics information session. We're super excited to share more about the program, also have our alumni and industry perspectives to learn more about those sides of it as well. My name is Amanda and I'm a student recruitment coordinator here at KPU. So what that means is I help students apply to programs. I also have to help to give you some more information about different programs. And yeah, I'm just gonna start off with a little bit of a welcome here. We just wanted to recognize that Kwantlen Polytechnic University's 5 campuses are situated in a region that overlaps with the traditional and ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people. So namely the Kwantlen, Musqueam, Katsi, Semiahmoo, Tawasin, KK, and Coquitlam peoples. And we just wanted to thank them for sharing their land and their resources with us in friendship and peace. And we really do honor our name, which the Kwantlen First Nation has graciously shared with us. And if you didn't know, Kwantlen actually means tireless runner. And so we are always striving to be tireless in our pursuit of knowledge and understanding here at KPU. And we also like to include this photo as well. This is a photo taken at our Langley campus. It's the newest artwork by Brandon Gabriel, who is a Kwantlen First Nation member. He's also the son of our elder in residence, Lakayton, and he also designed our KPU coat of arms, which is really really great and really special. And I think that really kind of speaks to the close knit community that we have at KPU. So I'll turn it over back to Kulpreet and we'll get started here.
Thank you, Amanda, for that lovely introduction. I would just quickly like to do a roundtable and introduce everyone on the panel here. My name is Kulpreet Sasson. I am the Program Progression Officer at the Faculty of Trades and Technology. That won't mean anything to you except I provide support while you're on campus and make sure to help you get through your program. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Ron Murray, who teaches in the program. He teaches the electrical portion. Ron, why don't you talk a little bit more about what you teach? And
hi there, welcome. What I teach is like Kulpreet had said, the electrical side of things, electronics, programming, a little bit of mechanical science, and among other things, motor controls, various things like that. That's sort of what my end of it is.
Next, I'd like to introduce John Singh, who's also a faculty member in the Mechatronics Program. John, can you talk a little bit about yourself and your industry experience?
Yeah. So my name is John Singh, and I've been in the industry for about 23 years before I came to Kwantlen, and I've been teaching there for about 7 years. And in the Mechatronics program, I teach the mechanical component, touch a little bit on the electronics. So Ron and myself, we share a little bit of each other's disciplines. I'm also a millwright instructor there. I'm still in the millwright department, and so yeah, full time at the Mechatronics course right now.
Thank you, John. Next, I'd like to introduce Leo. Leo is an alumni from the KPU Mechatronics program. He's currently working. Leo, tell us about yourself, and let's begin with your perspective, please.
So my name is Leonardo. I'm from Brazil, and I started the program like almost 4 years ago when I started doing the program. And when I finished, before I finished, I had already a job. So my perspective from the program is very good, very good, very, very good.
Okay, so for the first portion of the session, I'd like some perspective from Leo. Leo, I'm very proud of you. You're really representing your company with your Witron.
Yeah, like I put it here, Witron. That's what I work for.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about where you're working right now and what does that company do?
So this company is responsible for warehouse automation. So what Witron does, they automate warehouse, so it becomes more efficient. So we usually, what we say, we build pallets here. So with high-end technology, we build orders that actually would take I don't know how many people would it take to make the same thing the machines they do here. So it's a very high-end automated system with a lot of computer, a lot of electrical, mechanical, and electronics, and you have to be versatile in all this area to get by, to work for this company. And it's a very good company. It's I don't know, I think one of the best companies if it's not the best company I've ever worked in my life. And everything is good about the company. And they are in the market since 1971. So it's very well established. But because we do the job for companies like Walmart, Sobeys, so they can become more efficient with our automation system.
How did you learn about the Mechatronics program and what made you apply to it?
So actually what happened with me, I was looking for going to another school, but that school took me 2 years to get into the program. I would have to wait for 2 years to get into the program. I'm married, so was like, I cannot wait that 2 years to be in the program, so then I can start working what I want to do in Canada, because I'm actually from Brazil, but I need the Canadian experience and also the education to improve my family situation in Canada, and also to improve everything. I would say, like, my life wouldn't be the same if I was waiting for something to happen in my life, if I wouldn't get the education in a Canadian and well-recognized university. So, and when I was driving by, I saw KPU. That's how I saw the program. Then I got into the university. They said, "Oh, we're going to start this program here, Mechatronics." As I'm from Brazil and I know a little bit about Europe and other parts of the world, Mechatronics, I knew that was the start of booming automation in Canada and actually North America and everywhere. That was before COVID. I knew that that's something so cool. I have to do it, and I have to get my diploma in this so I can be part of the growing automation system that's happening all over the world. That's not just Canada. Everyone's automating because we have to. If the world doesn't automate, the world will stop. And COVID has proved that.
Excellent. So was this your first job immediately after graduation, or you said you had already found work?
Oh yeah, before my first job was at Amazon. Actually, what I am now, my boss is Vitron, but my boss also is Walmart. We work for Walmart, so for this warehouse here. But my first job was at Amazon when I just left the university, but it was night shift, so I couldn't stay. And then I started working for a greenhouse. I worked there for almost a year, and came opportunity to work for a company that approached to me to work for a robotics company. And then Vitron came after. It's like, if I update my LinkedIn, I'm not up to date, but it's gonna come like jobs and jobs and jobs, because they need people like me that works in the mechatronics. They know, the people who look for me, they know what they are looking for.
Right.
So yeah.
It sounds like it's a specialized industry, and very few people have the skill set that you would bring to the industry.
It's very few. I think there is only one guy here at the company here he did mechatronics, and there's another Brazilian guy, but all the rest of the people, they are not mechatronics people. But that is because there isn't enough, because the system is basically mechatronic.
Fair
And
enough.
if you go to the website, the company where I work for, they're looking for mechatronics students. So if you go to the website, you're gonna see like Vitron, Mechatronics, and the opportunities they have, because the system cannot work with only one mindset. You cannot have automation. You cannot be, oh, I know this and that's good. No, automation, you have to see the whole picture, not just a part of the picture, because everything now is connected. So you're gonna be working with machines that have electronics, have sensors, have internet, bus bars, like all this stuff, Ethercat. This is all you're gonna have to work with. And also the program, you're gonna have to understand about computers very well, because you're gonna have to see like, okay, this is what the machine wants. And you're gonna have to understand how the industrial computer side works. And you don't learn this in other programs.
Excellent answer. Can you tell us what your day might look, an average day might look like at Witron or at any of the companies you've worked at? What does someone who does your job do in your day?
So if like we mainly, like all the jobs I worked for, most was keeping the system running. And when there is space for improvement, we do the improvement. We have to be creative as well. So if they need help to create new ways that they can improve production, that's basically what you're gonna work. That was mainly for me, but the robotic company I worked for, yeah, I did some improvements that was asked for my boss. Yeah, every company will have the room for using your creativity. And also you have to keep in mind that you're dealing with like millions of dollars going through your hand, because if you don't fix the machine, the production will not run.
So just on a follow-up on that, so what kind of things, is it just you're responsible for maintaining millions of dollars of equipment, or just also the fact that the production line might get slowed down if you're incurred?
Yeah, that's the point. Like if the production doesn't run because there is a defect in the machine, or there is a fault, we call faults, the production will not run. So, and every second that passes and it's not running, it's money going somewhere. So not to the company. So we have to keep it up. In all these companies I worked for was basically this. So we are dealing with a lot of money from other people that they trust in you. That's another thing that new like students, they have to understand is when you go to a job interview, you have to show them you know what you're talking about. So because they cannot give you a job if you don't know. And every company I worked for, I had to do a test. So, and it was not like, oh, the job is here, come working for us. No, it was not like that. Oh, that's the first interview. And then comes the second interview. Oh, now we're gonna test you if you know what you're doing. And then they hire you. So it's just to see the level of companies you can get in this industry. They need people who know what they are doing. So yeah, basically you're gonna deal with different, the mechatronics is so wide. So in my view, like I had the two opportunities. I work with the robots that gave me a chance to improve some parts of the robots and help and find out how that works. But also when I work in the production line, that was basically most of my time I work in as a mechatronic technician. I had to deal with the production. I had to keep like everything running and knowing all the picture of the situation, figure out electrical, mechanical, and electronics and computer side of everything. So when you go to work as a mechatronic technician, they expect you to know a little bit, a lot about everything. But that doesn't mean that you need to know everything. You know, after your program, you know a lot. You're gonna have like a strong basis. So when you go to a job interview and you talk, they know what you're talking about. They know like, oh, this guy got the training, because they need to train the people. They cannot just grab someone from the street and put it here. That's what my manager says. If I could put people to work here and I could teach them everything, I wouldn't be paying you to do that. So I would grab someone and put, so because you have the skills, you are here.
How would you say the Mechatronics program at KPU prepared you for your job?
100%. I couldn't do it. I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I had my experience in Brazil, but the program was very, very good. My instructors, they helped me with everything. I never had instructors like John and Ron that actually they are worried about if I learned something, not just taking tests. So they helped me. I 100%. I couldn't take, like, a lot of people want to understand, but the PLC is an industrial computer. I could take that home and study at home. And that makes a huge difference to understand how industrial computers, just so people can understand, works. So they helped me. Like, I had microcontrollers. So I worked with microcontrollers in my program, things I've never done before. So the program opened even my mind in like things I would do after my program, things I enjoyed very much and I didn't know. So the program was all well done. And I think when the person goes to the field, and that's just not me, the other people who studied with me, they say the same thing. Like, oh man, the program like showed everything I needed. Everything I needed was in the program. Like, the Mechatronics, a manufacturing program. So I have to say, I'm not trying to say that because I'm an alumni student, but man, even in my first job interview, the first question that a manager asked was, you know what's Gamba walk? And I was like, oh, I thought I would never use this information. And we are like, we never use this. And then with my first interview, they asked me,
what is the answer? Now we have to know.
Okay, yeah, that was the Gamba walk, is to find out, like, with other people, how everything is working the system. You talk with other people, how, like, oh, how is that? How is working here? So that's how you, as a mechatronics technician, also needs, is how you're gonna talk with people, how you're gonna get the right information from people. And the program teaches you that, how to approach to other people. Yeah.
I'd like to invite Ron and John into this conversation right now. And just to, as a general overview, talk a little bit about how the program was designed to meet industry needs. What were the demands you saw in the industry that you thought could be met by creating a program such as the Advanced Manufacturing Program and Mechatronics and Advanced Manufacturing Program? John, Ron, please jump in.
Want me to go ahead, Ron?
Yeah, go ahead, John. I wasn't sure if you were going to start.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So the fundamental or the foundation of it was from Siemens. And that's where we get a lot of our curriculum from. But it's good curriculum, but Ron and myself have so many years in the industry. And I am 100% sure that when we bring those experiences into the teaching environment with the fundamentals, what Siemens has given us as what to deliver, I think that is what makes a very strong program that that reflects our experience and helps our alumni or future students to be successful, or how successful as they are. I think it's from adding our experiences to a foundation of mechatronics delivery. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Ron, do you want to jump in on that in terms of curriculum development for the program?
Sure. So so I'm a Red Seal electrician, and so you know, looking at motor theory and all these other things, of course, is great. You're looking at the theory of how these things work. You get to do the labs. You get to work with wiring things up. But it comes down to the safety side of it as well, because this is going to be real equipment in the field that you're working with. And so John can probably attest to it as well, that the safety is number one, not just working with theory, but actually sort of doing a sort of a knowledge transfer of, hey, this is lab equipment, but in a factory or in a process or in any kind of industry, there's going to be real equipment. And so lockout is important. And also just understanding what you're doing and applying the theory to the practical use of the equipment. So that's really the focus, is and heavy troubleshooting, because, you know, I've spent many years troubleshooting machines, so I can bring that to the table as well, and sort of give an example of where this would be applied. And so I think that in forming the program, we sort of took our experiences and added a lot of value-added material there, on top of the Siemens just basic curriculum. And so we're constantly tweaking things as well and making it better as every time.
Leo, I saw you getting a little excited there when Ron was mentioning that. I think you have something to contribute.
Yeah, like he said about safety. Yes, you have a lock here. When every time in that, I learned in the program. So the program, I think, was the first class we had. One of the first classes we had to do tag out, lock out, and this is so important because it's your life. It's at stake. So when you learn about tag out, lock out, and you go to a job interview, you know what you're talking about, you know how to do that. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, he understands about safety, and safety is basically a big part of the program as well, because yeah, if you work with heavy duty or like any machine, it has some danger, and if you don't know how to work with them, yeah, the program will teach you. That's why I always have a lock. Yeah.
Ron, John, can you talk a little bit about what kind of industries are going to be recruiting within, especially BC, for this program? For what are the kind of careers available in advanced manufacturing in BC right now? And perhaps, Leo, at a certain point, we can expand out to a global perspective on this. But let's start with locally. What kind of firms are hiring people from this program?
John, do you want to start, or would you like to?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
So what we've seen is a lot of places that I wouldn't say are fully automated, but that companies that have now incorporated automation, they're just new to it, so they need mechatronics students to work on their equipment. A lot of greenhouses, and greenhouses make all sorts of different products. So, but now to compete, they have automation incorporated into it. So it's a necessity to have mechatronics students in those fields. Also, the obvious factories that produce could be beer, could be bread. They're all automated now. They don't poultry factories, 100% automated, not 100%, but huge automation. Timber, lumber, those companies also automation. So anything that produces manufacturing requiring automation, our students are very valuable in those fields. Also, some soft skill jobs that our students can pursue, like technical writing. That's one job out there that I've researched, and they're looking for technical writers. And one of the other jobs that are sort of unseen is a process management specialist, and we are quite heavy into that. And now, because process automation is so big, that if you do not have process management, these industries will collapse on themselves by producing so much and not having the company streamlined. And the only way to streamline a company that's been automated is process management tools. And because we're in Industry 4.0, it's become hugely apparent that they need process management. Otherwise, companies will not survive. And so that's a job in itself, a process management specialist. So we just don't teach automation stuff. We also teach other aspects of it where people get employed in fields where they don't actually have to turn a wrench if they don't want to, things like that.
Ron, do you want to jump in on or add to this?
Sure. One of the employers, or a few of the employers I've connected with, one of them is doing automation builds. So basically, they'll build factory produced cabinets with all the controls in it, and also the electrical side of it as well. And then they go and install it, and then they commission it. And then they have service techs that repair it. And so the Mechatronics slides right in. So one of our students is currently working for that company. Another one is a possible avenue is product certification testing. Another avenue is, so John mentioned food processing, that you can go around the world, not during COVID maybe, but actually they were. And commissioning their equipment for food process stuff. And then Leo mentioned robotics. I mean, that's one aspect of it. That's a very diversified field. So you could niche in, and one of the types of robotics companies, maybe building the motors, maybe working with the controls, maybe something like that. And so it's just endless. It's really hard for me to pinpoint exactly one company, because it's the skills that are being focused on, and the troubleshooting, being able to go to anywhere and learn their equipment and learn their process. Because you're not going to learn everything in the class. You're going to apply what you know and grow that knowledge with the industry that you end up working for or in.
Leo, do you want to contribute to this?
Definitely, and one aspect I want to bring, because you become an essential worker, basically. And if you ask me, I was employed the whole time during COVID, and there was jobs out there asking for us. And if I had to travel, I'm an essential worker. So getting an airport, getting anywhere to go to, because companies, they will send you to get training and all this stuff. So you're an essential worker, basically. You cannot be out of work if you work in most automation systems around here. Because the food process here is growing too fast to catch up with the people they need for the work. And everything's automating. And that means for people who have the right skills, they will be always employed. If you don't have the skills, unfortunately, the world is moving on. So if I didn't get my program again, I don't know what would have had happened with me during COVID, but because I had the program, I had a job all the time.
I think this would be a good time to talk a little bit about the program, especially the first year of the program. Ron and John, can you talk about the Siemens certification? What does it mean? And like, we'll come back to you, Leo, for perspective on this. What is the Siemens certification that's covered in the first year curriculum of this program?
Ron?
You want me to go ahead or?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
please.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Siemens Mechatronic Systems Certification. So that's what it's called, SMSC. You can Google it on the website. and they're based in Germany. And so of course, Siemens is a international company, but based in Germany from the late 1800s. And so what they do is in Germany is they train them in their own factories in-house. But what they've done around the world, they've partnered with universities and colleges around the world, like literally different countries. When we did instructor training in Germany, there were people from Korea, different countries of Africa, China, North America. So it's really what it is they've partnered with all these institutions and said, this is our curriculum. We would like to extend that certification worldwide and of course, what the benefit they get is not only a fee for their testing, but it's about their product use. And so of course, if you're going to learn about the products and you're going to learn about how to program their PLCs and learn about their equipment, they're going to get more sales. And so I guess they felt that was a good business decision. But what it is, the certification, it gives you a base curriculum of how Siemens trains in Europe using a system approach. And when you take the level 1 certification exam and the level 2 certification exam, it's globally recognized. So it'll be a globally recognized certification. You want to have that on your resume, even though there's a additional fee and this external accreditation or certification, not part of Quantlin at all. That it does add a lot of value to your saying that you've taken a Mechatronics Diploma program, and now you've got this additional level 2 certification.
Where can you go with this certification? Like you mentioned that it's globally recognized, but what kind of industries? This is where I think I wanted to ask earlier, expand out to, is on a global perspective, like we've talked about food manufacturing and processing locally and like warehousing, but what other industries that might not be present in BC could you see a student who's perhaps interested in travel abroad or wants to be able to have a portable set of skills? Where can they take these skills and what would be the limit for them?
I'm going to defer to John because he's traveled around the world. What would you say, John?
Leo, you can jump in on this as well later.
I would say usually what happens is students or people that get on with companies that manufacture mini factories or automation for factories or large machines like compressors or generators, things like that. They travel the planet, okay? But for a Canadian company. But if students want to go internationally, all you have to do is Google Siemens, and it'll come up with thousands of companies out there that have Siemens systems in place, and they're always hiring. Okay, offshore oil rigs, offshore sea vessels, Siemens controls everywhere. A lot of the shipping companies, Siemens control systems. It doesn't stop with how much Siemens is out there. It just doesn't stop. And once you Google Siemens controls, holy smokies, you are globalized. And with those certifications, that level 1, level 2 certifications, you are globally recognized, not just in Surrey or Vancouver, where people know who Quantlin is. I'm sure people know Quantlin throughout Canada, but when you talk about the word Siemens, it is truly a global company with vessels loaded with Siemens controls. It just doesn't stop. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Thank you. Leo, do you have a perspective that you can add to this?
Yeah, definitely. What John and Ron said is 100% true. Like the system, the Siemens certification has a huge weight when you're going to be hired. So when you say, oh, I have this certification, people look at you differently because they recognize the name. So, and what John said, and it's true, because if you're talking with someone from Quebec or from the States, and they say like, oh, what did you take? Oh, I take this Mechatronic program in this university, and plus I had the Siemens certification. So they say, oh, okay, now I see what level you are to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is going to be, I'm putting all three of you on the spot here. What would be a surprising industry where you would say is an advanced manufacturing place, where you wouldn't think, oh, there are careers in mechatronics or in manufacturing in this thing? So like for me, for example, farm work or greenhouse was a surprising enough industry to think about that there is an advanced manufacturing portion to this. Any other industry you could think of that might have applicability to this program? Like this is, think of the, sorry, go ahead, John.
Yeah, so my favorite unseen mechatronics job is the process management specialist. There are many companies out there that I think they charge those service people, those professionals out at $1,000 a day to go to a company. They pay for their travel, pay for the hotel, cars, and they go to speak at a company for one day. And I think it's $1,000 a day per company.
Wow.
To charge a process management specialist to go and speak at a company. To implement it, it's $1,000 a day, and it could take up to 7 days to implement process management tools, a combination of tools to streamline processes of a factory. And they are not on the wrenches, tools, or in the automations.
Thank you. That's a great answer. Like, unless someone else wants to jump in, I think I'd like to move on to the program and talk about how the program is laid out and how it prepares you for the industry. Ron, do you want to start off by just talking about the first year, and jump in at any time, John, and same with you, Leo.
Okay, sure. Are you, I've just got some notes here because I go on memory. That's a difficult thing. You didn't want the PowerPoint or anything like that?
No, you're a great conversationalist. This is
okay.
great.
Okay, so basically we have 2 years, 2 years in the program. So year one is a certificate that you will receive after year one, and of course a diploma after year two. And so in year one, you do both the Siemens level 1 and level 2 certification. And so looking at just looking at the list here of courses, I've got lots of equipment and all that in this PowerPoint. So 1 second here, and a video. 1 second here. So what we have in the first semester, we've got just, so it's basically level 1 Siemens curriculum, but then embellished with the way we deliver it with our lab equipment and whatnot. There's electrical components. So components, just basic components, like things that would control, like control electricity. And so you're looking at switches and potentiometers and basic electronic devices and things like that. But then there's mechanical components and electrical drives. And so mechanical components is, what things are made of, pulleys and gears and belts and things like that, and a lot more John would embellish on. Electro-pneumatics and hydraulic control circuits. So not only electrical control, but now using other mediums like hydraulics and pneumatics, which is air. And then the learning the digital fundamentals of how programming is structured with voltages of ones and zeros, and how that pertains to PLCs. And so you will be programming a PLC at the basic level after the first semester with a couple of different programs using some structured programming skills that you probably will use for life.
Wow.
And so that's the first semester.
John, do you want to add
okay, go ahead,
something
John,
into the
sorry.
first year conversation here? Anything?
Yeah, that thing we say about Quantlen putting words into action, is that right? I don't think there's any university out there that does it more than us in the real world. I mean, what we teach our students, and then we go touch it. So everything we are saying is true, because then we go and handle it, from electrical, electronics, hydraulics, pneumatics, mechanical systems. We just don't talk about it. We just don't do the math about it. We talk about it, do the math, lecture, and we go and play with or exercise the actual items that we speak about. We just don't speak about them, have the math pertaining to it. We are touching, experiencing, and developing psychomotor skills on practicing using these types of equipments. Make sense?
Absolutely. Leo, this is where you jump in and talk about developing those skills. How did you find the ratio of theory to practical while in the program?
Yeah, like I did some programs in Brazil, right? I studied in Brazil, I studied in university in Brazil, and you don't have practical skills. Honestly, you get the theory a lot and you get some, but day one, you're gonna get practical skills. You're gonna get practicals that you're gonna use for your job for real. And that was a difference, that when you're in the program, you may not see that way, but when you go to the field and you're like, wow, yeah, he taught me that. Oh, John taught me that. Ron taught me that. He made me do that. Oh, now I know how to do that because I did in my class, like how to tap, like how to make a proper hole and make like the tap the right way. So use the die and everything. So the mechanical part, like how to cut a piece of steel with the saw that we had in KPU, because KPU has all the equipment you need to be successful. So they have the things there and they allowed you to use as much as you want. So yeah, you're gonna get practical skills from day one.
Thank
And
you,
that makes
sir.
good money. That brings good money.
Ron, coming back to you. So it seems like your one is focused on the Siemens certification, and how does it transition and what additional skills are required when you move into the diploma part in year two?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't finish with the whole.
Oh, sorry. Please do continue.
But that's okay. I mean, so integrating different pieces of equipment like a PLC with to a touch screen like an HMI, and being able to integrate other controllers and network them together and know a couple of basic networking techniques is key for employers. And also the process control and motor control are very, very handy to know how those systems work. And so that's what we focus on in the second semester of year one. But moving into year two, renewable energy. Renewable energy is becoming a huge part of every industry. Not only because they might have a few solar panels on their roof or depending on using wind turbines or other types of energy. It's not about that. It's about implementing it and understanding that those are mechatronic systems, especially with the wind. Those are mechatronic systems as well. So maybe somebody could could move on in their career and learn more and go into renewable energy career into as a technician as well. So renewable energy, I bring that to the table. And John, actually, where is John? There, yeah, there, John, you're on the other side now. Yeah, so maybe you want to talk about some of the things that you focus on in the second year.
The second year is a really fun year. So whatever we did in the beginning, year one, we weren't limited by Siemens, but we didn't have full full power of full autonomy of what we want to teach. And so the second year, we just supersize it. So it becomes a little bit of millwright, a little bit of mechanical stuff we did in year one turns into a huge, monstrous component working on real heavy lathes and real heavy drill presses, milling machines. And when the students, it's got to be the most amazing thing when students stand back about 10 feet, don't want to get near a running lathe or a mill. Just, some of them are just terrified of it. And at the end, they're running these things like professionals. It is the most amazing thing. And they asked me, the first year guys asked me, they said, John, can we use that? Will we learn that? And they want to be so proud to say that they can operate these machines proficiently, not just dibble dabble in it, but I mean, like really run them like they own it. Same with everything else they build. I'm sure Ron's the same. I mean, they acquire all these skills, but I think it's just the neatest thing to see them 10, 15 feet back and then just, a little bit nervous and right in there doing the work. So even the process management, the second year, it is supersized. It is supersized. Process management course is supersized. So, so we have the onus and the autonomy to create a more bolder experience for the students. And that's coming from Ron and myself's experience in these fields. Yes?
Leo, do you want to jump in on how you found the second year and the experience of doing that?
Yeah, that was great. Like working on all of these heavy duty machines, like that was a really good experience for us. And as I the students that worked with, studied with me, but I want to add one thing too is we get at KPU sometimes the small size of a factory, right? You get the small version of what you're gonna see, a huge version when you go to the field. So that experience is also priceless because you can see how the teaching that they use, John and Ron, Siemens, and all the second year to in small size, what you're gonna see in the even bigger size. Because you get scared when you see, oh, this is the machine that I'm gonna work with, and I'm gonna have to repair, or I have to know how to use them. But when you go to the field, you're gonna see like even bigger than that. You're gonna be like, wow! Like if you see the things I work here, it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
Actually, this brings us back to the technology that's incorporated into the program and the equipment that our lab uses. Ron and John, can you talk a little bit about how much capital equipment and how well stocked the labs are to teach students the different components of the program?
Well,
putting you on the spot there, it's Ron.
We're always trying to acquire more equipment. Let's put it that way. But so far, I mean, we've had very good success with what we have, and we have the use of the whole university's different programs. So it's not just what's within our lab, the process trainers, the motor labs, solar wind trainers, the milling machines, different things like that within our lab, the small versions. But the whole millwright shop, all that equipment John was talking about, the electrical shop, electrical labs, with actual motor control, a whole wall dedicated to motor control wiring, actual physical wiring, to be able to know how to actually wire that up in the field. And so very practical. I think our equipment it's perfectly lined, and we have use of all of it. We just have to schedule it in the right way. That's
John, do you want to speak on this?
Yeah, I just one point is that our class sizes aren't that big. Like maybe we can muster if we had 20 students, but we've always had less than 20 students. I can almost guarantee you that we have more equipment per student than any university out there, only because they have so many students. But we have so much equipment and less students. So the ratio is in the students' benefit. So there's just more equipment to play with.
Leo, do you want to talk about this?
Oh yeah, definitely. I always talk about that with everyone. Why to choose, like, even, I'm not saying even the Mechatronics program in KPU, but KPU as a school in general, the size of the classes. That makes a huge, I cannot say like how much that makes a difference for a student. You're gonna go to another university and you'll be in a class with 60 people, 150 sometimes. You're gonna be in a auditorium like huge, and the teacher will be talking with you. And I know teachers that because the program, you're gonna have to change, you're gonna have to take like parts of the program will be moved to other campus, like the Surrey campus, and there you're gonna take like English, that if you wanna keep studying, we will help you in different universities too. That I also recommend it, like always keep learning, because the program Mechatronics opens like so vast for you, and you can even improve your program by keep studying. Oh, I want to know more about this, so I'm gonna go to this side of Mechatronics, and I want to know more about computers, for example, or I want know about electrical. So, but going back to this, the size of the classes, it's only helpful, because we had like 15 students, and John and Ron, they had the time to spend with us to explain what we couldn't learn. And when I went to the English class, like to learn English, I had a teacher a professor that was there with me, and he could actually be with me when I had difficulties with the language, because English is not my first language. So he helped me out. And business, same thing. He helped me so much with everything I needed, because we had like, in business, we had 30 students, I think was 30 students. Normally a classes of business, you have, I don't know, like the other UBC, whatever, BCIT, you have, I don't know how many people you have there. I just hear like, yeah, take it. I heard that actually from the professor, my English professor. He said, take advantage of this time, because if you are in another university, I couldn't be beside you teaching you that. So the classes are amazing. The size is perfect to learn at KPU in general.
Thank you, sir. Guys, we're coming, time has flown by. So I'm going to ask for a quick little note. And Amanda, I want to hand it off to you after this. Any closing thoughts from all of you before, Amanda, you take over and guide us on how to apply to this lovely program?
I can add a couple of things I don't think were mentioned, is that in addition to the courses, there will be some like essential welding and metal fabrication skills in one of the classes, and also 3D CAD using SolidWorks, I believe. So that's in those departments. And so Leo mentioned that the university, there are disciplinary programs throughout the university that are in our program, that are part of our program. And so those things are part of the program. But one of the main things that was missed, that there's a work practicum. And so the focus is really on getting some experience in an industry. And we've connected with employers that take our students for a short time, but to gain that experience, and you can put that on your resume, and you actually might even get hired there. That's happened to a few, but that's not a guarantee. But it's really good to have that practical experience with real industry as part of the program.
John, any last words?
So we've had this program for 3 years, and but that doesn't mean that we're set in our ways, that okay, we have the equipment, we have the knowledge, we can coast. Ron and myself never stop learning new platforms to enhance the program. Monthly, every quarterly, we are just diligent on learning new platforms and presenting them to students in the best way we can. So it never stops. It never is where it's stagnant. We're upgrading ourselves and upgrading the equipment and bringing in new equipments and learning on it. So it exponentially becomes a stronger program as time goes by. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Leo, last word to you before Amanda, you take over.
For me, like, it's something that's very important as a student, because I remember people saying that a lot, like, oh, how much money I'm gonna make it. So like in automation nowadays, you can make good money. You can make good money, you will be able to support your family, and it will be okay. That's the end goal. I think everyone, when they take a program, is how is going to be my job opportunities, how I'm going to get a good salary. Yes, you're going to get a good salary. You're going to get way above the average if you keep learning, put the skills that you learn in the program to action. Not just wait for your instructors to teach you the stuff, but also look for the stuff that you want to learn as well. And you have you'll be different from the average, right? And that will make a huge difference when you go to a job interview and you say, you're gonna choose where to work if you can. And that's the level you can get into automation. In general, automation is growing like crazy, and the salaries also are going the same way because they don't have the right people for the right job. So if you want to get a field that you're going to have exponential growth and also jobs opportunities, that's the program. That's what I have to say. I'm very thankful for the time I spent in KPU, because it was a part of I just moved to Canada, and I want to work in a field like mechatronic technology. I always loved, and the Mechatronics program will open your eyes to how the world is advancing. That's what I mean. And the salaries are good, the stability as well. You're gonna get jobs that will give you a lot to keep you. They don't want to lose you. They want to keep you because they know how hard it is to find people who have the right skills. So that's my last thing here. Yeah, if you get into the program and you work hard and you learning everything that John and Ron has to teach you, you're gonna get a good job, good salary, it will be fine.